When you dock at Southampton, the excursions offered are London, Stonehenge, Bath, Windsor, Salisbury, Winchester, the New Forest or Bovington Tank Museum. But how about the Isle of Wight?
I just told him this joke.
Travelling to the Isle of Wight is like going back in time, I kid you not. As you get off Ryde Pier, you'll be greeted by an old 1960s Central Line London tube, which is the train that will take you through the island. But if you care to join the ferry from a cruise, the ferry terminal is between the cruise terminals. We travelled in from Southampton, came into the other pier and got a cab to a resort where we decided to stay and extend our cruise holiday. We stayed in one of these wonderful caravan parks, and look at the size of this living room. Most people don't have a living room that size at home. And to solve our housing crisis, building these instead of houses might be an idea. You've seen them on Gogglebox. That bathroom would put the cruise ship to shame. They have 2 bedrooms, wonderful kitchen, and easy to maintain, low-cost housing. Here, there's a nightclub and an amusement park, as well as a swimming pool and a chicken bar, and all the things you'd expect.
The Isle of Wight is an island that's continually updating itself, and that's why we thought we'd update our film. For example, the last time we came here, Harvey Browns was a very small farm shop, and now it has expanded to this lovely farm shop, place to eat and come, and you could even spend a day here.
As well as its wonderful beaches and microclimate, the Isle of Wight now has many new features like this farm restaurant shop. We'll show you a few. We'll get to the garlic restaurant later on. So stay with us and we'll take you to the beach, the piers and those new facilities. In contrast, the Dairyman's daughter is based around a free house, and all of the outbuildings are perhaps a lot more traditional. Weaving, arts, craft, and 2 glass-blowing museums, both worth seeing, both with live demonstrations. There's everything here, from old tractors and the most ornate, wonderful pond with giant rhubarb, to something I particularly like is a real old-fashioned penny arcade museum.
Oh, look at this. Want to race me? Want to go this one, Stuart? See if we can use food bowl.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. If you like glass, the Isle of Wight Glass Museum is definitely worth seeing. Our first coastal stop is to Yarmouth, which, despite being the second smallest town in England, is in fact the oldest town on the Isle of Wight. Roman history can be found here, but the first proof of a fixed settlement at Yarmouth, which was called Ermud, meaning muddy estuary, is in a tax survey from 991 AD, reconfirmed almost a century later in the Domesday Book, compiled by William the Conqueror. During the reign of Henry I, it was developed into a town and given a royal charter eventually in 1135, and the stamp of Henry VIII is everywhere. Walls, castle, and all of the pubs have royal names. And I can highly recommend the ice cream. Just go and see Keith at the entrance to the pier. His favourite is clotted cream and berry. The castle itself was begun in 1546, the final year of Henry VIII's reign, and it was the last of his fortification of the national programme of coastal defences that Henry had begun in 1539. From old to somewhat newer, this is Goddards, one of the island's microbreweries. The brewing system is on view and they do tours. The breakfast with the beer bread toast is wonderful, and you'll recognise some of the beers that they brew here on site. I must take a moment to thank both Ali and Tivo for showing us around the Isle of Wight, two locals who love their island. We went to the garlic farm for a meal in the evening. They also brew their own beer.
Put your hand out. Now take one from Heidi.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Put me in it.
As well as brewing their own beer, they do walking tours of the farm and much more. Now, if you're travelling from London, it couldn't be easier.
Waterloo Station was built in 1848 as an extension of the main Nine Elms railway station, which was the London terminus in the 1830s. It was designed by William Tite and raised on marshy areas on a series of arches, and today is where we begin our journey south. We arrived in Portsmouth, and in case you hadn't guessed, we're on our way to the Isle of Wight. We're going to Ryde Pier. The transfer from Portsmouth Harbour Station to the ferry took less than 4 minutes. This is Sandown, and over there's a zoo, and apparently 25 years ago they used to exercise the animals on the beach until the council stopped them. 2 miles of sandy beach here, ideal for the children. We're at Sandown Pier. There's a Super Bowl, there's a cafe that sells roasts all day, there's a casino. It's like going back in time, real good old-fashioned entertainment down there. The Isle of Wight's a brilliant place for family holidays, but the only problem is the parking. So look at the train option. It's much easier, it's more relaxing, and try and stay near the beach. Isle of Wight is famous for festivals, probably the mother of festivals. And we're here at Ventnor Botanical Gardens, and Ventnor always has a fringe festival which runs at the same time as Edinburgh Festival. Same principles, no selection process, and this is different, 100% of the money raised goes to the artists. This Botanical Gardens is beautiful. It matches any that I've seen on far-off countries. Microclimate is a word you hear a lot on the Isle of Wight. Gorges or chines protected from the cold northerly winds, and Ventnor Botanical Gardens is one such place. With 28 inches of rainfall, it's more like the Mediterranean. What's so different about these botanical gardens is you can just bring a picnic and spend a whole day here. Banana trees in the Isle of Wight. So just a quick reminder, we're not on a Caribbean island, we're in Ventnor in the Isle of Wight, 22 minutes from Portsmouth. You know, we could be anywhere in the world, couldn't we? It's amazing. Doris has a fig tree in her garden, and actually her figs are more developed than these ones. Apparently Alan Titchmarsh lives on the island. I wonder if he ever comes here for inspiration. Another interesting point, Benedict Cumberbatch got married on the island. Also, Anthony Minghella, the famous film director, was born and brought up here, and his family have an ice cream company here. I'm now walking down towards the sea. In the 1800s, the Royal National Hospital used to be here, and it was suggested that a tunnel was built to go down to the sea so that the patients could use it and aid their recovery. I've just come along the coastal path, and at the bottom of this hill is Steep Hill Cove. It's a privately owned beach. All the houses own a little portion of the beach in front of it. There's a restaurant, an ice cream kiosk, all the ingredients for a perfect day. We could be on a tropical island. There's a changing hut for bathing, and you can hire a deck chair for £2.50 for the whole day.
The price may have gone up, but I bet the honesty box is still there.
I wonder how many years people have been coming here. It's the perfect British seaside resort. Everyone's very organised, having picnics, got their umbrellas up. The Isle of Wight is like a little secret. It's got a microclimate. On a day like today with this glorious weather, why would you go anywhere else? Why would you go abroad? It's full of interesting buildings. This one, for example, used to be Whitecroft Mental Asylum, and Tennyson's wife spent some time here, hence the name. And it's now been turned into these beautiful apartments. The Isle of Wight was notorious for shipwrecks. The Wight Mouse Inn, as in the Isle of Wight Mouse Inn, and Clarendon Hotel were named after a shipwreck of the Clarendon which happened in this bay. The needles which used to catch the ships can be seen from here on a clear day. The area name has been Chale since the 12th century. It derives from an Old English word for throat, thought to refer to the nearby ravine or chine at Blackgang. And Blackgang Chine was the first theme park and began in 1843. This is Godshill, one of the main tourist towns in the Isle of Wight. It's famous for the lovely thatched roofs, cream teas and ice cream. I've just seen a shop with over 20 flavours of ice cream in it, and just down the road there is a lovely little cream tea restaurant that I'm going to have a look at. There's also a chocolate cafe where they teach you how to make things out of chocolate, and a model village.
Please subscribe to our channel to see more of Jean's films. Here at Cruise Doris Visits, we do specialise in ports and places near to cruise terminals.
The Old World Ice Cream is a great place for a stop. Over 20 flavours of ice cream and homemade scones and cream teas.
You're with people, which is what I enjoy doing, obviously. So I went on a cruise which was round the Indian Ocean, which is where most of the Somali piracy had happened. So people thought I was a bit crazy, but I knew by then it had died down. And there was a gentleman giving a talk on Somali piracy in the Indian Ocean. And I thought, well, this will be interesting. And for me, it was too factual about figures and money and ransoms. Never once did he mention the seafarers. And for me, that's what the last 4 years had been about. And so rather stupidly, I said, oh, well, I could do better than that. And my friend, the chaplain, said, oh, well, I've got the email address of the lady who does the bookings. So I wrote off to her, and they responded very quickly and said, yes, we'd love to have you. What are you going to talk about? And then I thought, oh, perhaps I should have thought about that before I wrote the first email.
Please hit the subscribe button to Cruise Doris Visits. And also review the books if you read them. Thank you very much. Jean's Port Guides are in playlists on YouTube, so the Caribbean is in the Caribbean playlist, and all the others are in their own playlist. Please subscribe.